Alright, let's talk about something that's been debated forever. Korra versus Katara in a pure waterbending fight. No avatar state, no bloodbending, just straight up bending skill. So if you've ever wondered who would win in a fight with no extra power boosts, well, you're in the right place because we're about to break it all down. It's Katara, the OG waterbending master, versus Korra, the Avatar powerhouse. Let's see who really comes out on top.
You want to fight the Avatar? Then let's finish this. Right here, right now.
This is Mind Bursters. If you love epic rankings and intense showdowns, then consider subscribing. It not only helps the channel grow, but ensures you never miss out on the action coming your way. Let's talk about Korra.
Are you really ready to fight her? Just stay back and let me handle this.
We all know she's incredibly powerful, but when it comes to her waterbending, it's on another level. She's always leaned more towards brute strength, and that natural talent shows in almost every battle. When you think of top-tier mastery, Korra's right up there. She can pull off multiple advanced moves at the same time, like riding and controlling a water spout. One standout moment was her battle with the Equalists at the Pro Bending Arena. This is where we really see how fierce and skilled she is. She created a tidal wave that shot from the bottom of the stadium to the top in seconds. It was fast, massive, and packed with power. Korra doesn't just throw water around, she uses it to dominate. On an even larger scale, her waterbending gets crazier. Another impressive feat was when she summoned a huge water vortex in the Mosi EC. She used it to overpower Desna and Eska, holding them off with sheer strength. What makes Korra truly dangerous is her ability to think on her feet. In one fight, she raised and froze a wave between her and a metal bending officer, causing him to crash and lose his grip. It wasn't just defense, it was her instinctive control over so much water. She's also super creative in battle. One time, she lifted an opponent into the air by bending water from under the floorboards. In another fight, she turned snow on the street into water to mess up a mecha tank. Let's not forget when she pulled a gigantic iceberg from the ocean, way bigger than a biplane, and brought it crashing down. Then there was a moment when she caught a speeding metal torpedo with just a small wisp of water and redirected it mid-flight.
It's all right. I've got you.
Korra also used water tentacles to effortlessly slap away an entire squad of northern waterbenders. Right after, she flash froze another group in seconds. Her waterbending isn't just powerful, it's extremely efficient. It's not all about big moves though. Korra can be deadly with smaller, precise attacks. In this scene, she froze water into sharp ice projectiles and hurled them at Amon with incredible speed and accuracy. These weren't just for show. Those ice spears were lethal. And of course, we can't skip over her battle with Unalaq. During this fight, she bent massive amounts of water and ice, creating giant waves and ice walls to block his attacks. The scale of her waterbending was truly insane. Another cool moment was in her fight against Kuvira. Although it was more of an all-elements battle, Korra still showed off some really impressive waterbending. Finally, there's her iconic move, the Big Kahuna. She lifted a huge tidal wave from a canal and slammed it into the Colossus, freezing the massive mecha in place. Then she followed up with another wave to immobilize its spirit cannon. Her precision is unmatched. She can bend tiny streams of water into a mecha tank's pipes, causing it to malfunction. She's taken out moving biplanes, hit underwater targets, and even created air bubbles for herself and her friends to swim and breathe. No matter the situation, Korra always finds a way to turn water into a weapon, a shield, or a tool.
Got an idea about who I am now, chumps?
Now let's talk about Master Katara.
Oh, sorry. did I splash you, mud slug?
You see, Katara's skills as a waterbender are nothing short of incredible, establishing her as one of the most versatile and powerful waterbenders in the Avatar universe. But let's talk more about some of her most impressive feats, shall we?
Let's do this.
First off, Katara's attacks pack serious power. She's strong enough to cause city block level destruction, and that's no surprise. Master Pakku himself recognized her as a waterbending prodigy.
Would anyone care for a rematch with Katara?
She's also shown she can hold her own against top-tier benders like Hama, even under a full moon when waterbenders are at their strongest. Katara's versatility in bending is remarkable. She can trap people in ice cages, create ice out of thin air, even in the middle of summer, and control the tides to her advantage.
I'm gonna give us some cover.
Her ice spear skills were sharp enough to use against Yan-Ra. I mean, Zuko's look of amazement when he lowered his mask said it all. She's a quick thinker in combat too, using her bending in creative ways to catch enemies off guard. When Team Avatar invaded the Earth King's palace, Katara created a protective water armor with tentacle-like arms that she used to whip the soldiers and blast them away. The way she can quickly shape and change water for both offense and defense blows my mind. As long as there's water, Katara has a weapon. In large-scale bending, Katara's skills are just as impressive. She's created gigantic waves to sweep Fire Nation soldiers away, bubbles of air to travel underwater, and whirlpools to subdue the giant sea serpent. And it doesn't stop there.
Here for a rematch?
Trust me, Zuko. It's not gonna be much of a match.
During her fight with Zuko at the Spirit Oasis, she surrounded him in a sphere of water and froze it solid, showing just how far her bending mastery goes. You could literally tell that Zuko was pissed.
I see you've learned a new trick, but I didn't come this far to lose to you.
Her control extended beyond what she could see. She flooded a Fire Nation factory by bending waves from a distant source, making the water rise up a cliff where she couldn't even see it. I mean, look at how massive the waves were and how tiny she was when it towered over her. This is insanely impressive. Her combat skills weren't just about raw power, she could also be very precise and dangerous. She once sliced Hu in half with a thin sheet of ice, even though he had withstood Aang's strong airbending. Her attacks were powerful enough that, if she wanted, they could seriously injure or even kill most opponents. When it comes to speed, Katara's reactions are nothing to scoff at either. Her quick reflexes in battle let her keep up with skilled fighters like Pakku, Zuko, and Azula. At one point, she nearly sliced Azula like a chicken, but Azula dodged just in time, losing a piece of her hair instead of her head. After her encounter with Hama, Katara learned new techniques and quickly applied them in dangerous situations. Her final showdown with Azula during Sozin's Comet brought everything together. Even though Azula was stronger and enraged, Katara managed to dodge Azula's lightning, which is an incredible feat on its own. Her ability to think fast and adapt in combat makes her a tough opponent.
Katara, you've advanced more quickly than any student I've ever trained. You have proven that with fierce determination, passion, and hard work, you can accomplish anything.
So, who wins? Who would be the ultimate waterbending champion between Katara and Korra?
Me!
This one's tricky, but I think I figured it out. Let's break it down by looking at 3 key areas: their experience, control, and battle strategy. Katara grew up in the Southern Water Tribe and faced plenty of challenges as a young waterbender, especially during the war against the Fire Nation. She went up against tough opponents that forced her to think quickly and adjust her bending style. Even if she wasn't always the strongest fighter in the room, she found ways to win by outsmarting her enemies. Korra, on the other hand, is a different story. She's also from the Southern Water Tribe, but she's more headstrong and likes to tackle problems directly. From the start, she was trained in waterbending and the other elements, cause hello, she's the Avatar, which made her a natural powerhouse. However, she didn't face the same wartime challenges as Katara, which means her tactical thinking isn't as developed. Korra likes to jump into fights with a lot of confidence, sometimes without fully considering the consequences. While that works in many situations, it's not always the best approach in a waterbending duel.
You're only allowed to knock players off the back of the ring, not over the sides.
Oh.
Katara and Korra know how to control their bending really well, but with Korra, it's not that she can't do certain things, it's more about what she doesn't focus on. Korra is forceful and tends to use her bending like a weapon rather than just for defense. She can be impulsive, which sometimes leads to a lack of the subtle control that Katara has. Her bending is powerful and impressive, but it can be reckless at times.
You're getting ahead of yourself as usual, Korra.
Katara connects deeply with water and her surrounding. When she fights, you can see her thinking through each move. She doesn't just throw water around, she uses it creatively. Katara also makes great use of her environment. For example, she blocked Mei's daggers with floorboards, took water from trees to attack Hama from both sides, made an ice table to shoot blades at Pakku, and even generated sweat to escape a wooden prison. Her tactics outsmart her opponents rather than overpowering them, like when she led Azula into a trap during Sozin's Comet and encased Combustion Man's head in ice, temporarily cutting off his power. Both fighters have determination and skill, but I believe Katara's control and creativity give her an edge when it comes to making the most out of any situation. When it comes to battle strategy, Korra and Katara couldn't be more different. Korra's approach is more aggressive and modern. Every damn thing about her is punch, punch, punch. She'll come at you like a storm, fast and aggressive, throwing everything she's got from the start to catch you off guard. It makes her a force to be reckoned with, but there's a downside. Her style is often predictable. If you've seen Korra fight, you know she doesn't hold back, and while that's impressive, it also means she tends to expose herself to counterattacks just like her fight with Tarlok. Katara, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. She's way more measured and strategic in her fighting style. She's patient, like water itself, waiting for the right moment to strike. She doesn't need to overwhelm you with brute force. She lets her bending do the talking. Katara's got this knack for reading her opponent's movements, figuring out their patterns, and using that against them. She's all about precision and adaptability, which is why she's able to pull off some insane moves under pressure. But like I previously said, this battle is a very tough one. For Katara to win, she would have to turn Korra's greatest strengths into her biggest weaknesses. Outside of pro bending, Korra doesn't really fight with water bending, but she is physically stronger, faster, and appears to be better in weaponizing the element than Katara. However, Katara is a true waterbender unlike Korra, who struggles to master the essential techniques of waterbending, especially the push and pull. Korra is all about pushing, not about pulling. She goes all in, gets overconfident, overexerts herself. Hell, even in the Avatar state, she rarely wins. Katara can use this to her advantage. She'd keep her distance initially, staying on the defensive and forcing Korra to waste energy with those heavy-handed attacks. And while Korra's busy trying to overwhelm her, Katara would be studying her moves, figuring out exactly when to strike back. She could use water whips to yank Korra off balance, or freeze sections of water to trap her movements. And while Korra is capable of doing these things too, Katara's experience in the art of waterbending means she's not just reacting, she's setting traps. The moment Korra commits to a big attack, Katara would already be countering, redirecting the momentum against her, exactly the way Pakku did with her. Who knows? She might even manage to trap Korra in an ice cage, just like Master Pakku trapped her.
This fight is over.
Come back here! I'm not finished yet!
Yes, you are.
In the end, it's just a classic tale of power versus precision. Don't get me wrong, Korra being genetically a waterbender and having really good physical prowess makes her a challenging opponent. But Korra is more about power and less about technique, which would not help much against a master waterbender. It's not even about Katara's skill. She is very skilled, we all know that. It is her mindset that makes Katara her superior. Like I've said before, when Katara recognizes a weakness, she exploits it. Korra does not. She rarely changes her tactics to reflect the situation she is in. But Katara changes tactics all the time, and it's the main reason why she wins her fights, and the main reason I know she will beat Korra here, cause let's face it, Katara is the smarter fighter. She'd play Korra's game, but on her own terms and come out on top.
Get out of here and don't come back. And if we ever see you again, well, we'd better not see you again.
But let me know what you think about this battle in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing for more breakdowns, battles, and rankings every week. This is Mind Bursters. Until next time, stay geeky.
What about Aang? He still needs to learn waterbending.
Well, then he better get used to calling you Master Katara.